Thought this would be a good time for me to kind of introduce myself again, because I've had a lot of new followers and obviously I've just started this YouTube journey. So if you haven't came from Instagram and you've just found me through YouTube, you don't know who I am. I came over to Australia in July 2022. So I came over with my partner Rob and we started our journey in Perth, and then we wanted to drive a lap of Australia. We were in Perth for about 9 months, and in that time we explored around Perth, the southwest coast, up kind of through the middle of Western Australia, and we decided to go up north on our lap because we were chasing the sun. So we left in April, headed north, did the northwest coast, and then cut across the Gibb River Road into Northern Territory. We then headed up towards Darwin, and at that time there was a lot on social media that people could not find regional work. So we used that. We were going to need work soon. It was coming into the last month of our first year visa, so we're about to head into our second year visa. So we knew we were going to have to start regional work in our second year visa anyway, and that was a bit stressful because we were going to need 6 months, which is a long time. So we decided to stop in Darwin for a bit and pick up a little bit of work. So we spent the dry season in Darwin, which was really cool. We explored the national parks up there, which are completely different to kind of anywhere else in Australia. And then we made our way down. Then coming into the building of the wet season, we decided that it was time to leave and headed down, cut across into Queensland. The plan was to go up to Cape York because it was still the end of the dry season, so no rain had came yet. Head up to Cape York and do Cairns and all them. Got to a place called Hughenden and the car started giving out. Did try to get it looked at in Hughenden, but the boys there didn't seem to know anything about what was happening with the car. So they told us, oh, just get it to Townsville, you'll be fine, just go. We were like a bit hesitant about it, but they said it'd be fine and they were mechanics, so obviously we trusted them, so we went for it. 50 kilometers up the road and the timing chain snapped in the engine and destroyed other components within the engine. Had to call RAC and get the tow truck out. 11 hours it took for a tow truck to come to us. It was the next day before we were in Townsville. And Nissan basically, they looked at the car, basically told us that they couldn't do anything for us. So while we were waiting on the car engine to get rebuilt by somebody else, we decided to pick up work in Townsville because now we were going to have to pay for a car. We really want to use our savings that we just did, so we thought, okay, let's find work here. Luckily, Townsville is still above the Tropic of Capricorn line, so that meant that we could still count any work that we did towards our regional work, so we got work again on another holiday park. By the time we got the car back, the wet season had rolled in, so it was too late to head up north and to go up to the Cape. So we said, you know what, we'll just finish out our regional work here. We did have a trip booked to Melbourne for Christmas, so we had made our way down the coast and travelled the east coast then before going to Melbourne, flying to Melbourne, flying back to the Gold Coast, working our way back up to Townsville and continue to work just to get our days ticked off. So we explored a lot around there in that time, which was great. So Cairns and the Cape had really bad rain during that wet season. Townsville actually didn't get hit with much rain at all. So we didn't actually really know the extent of the rainfall until we went up in the dry season. So when the dry season rolled around, we headed up. It said that the Cape and all was open. We got as far as Cape Tribulation and we couldn't get any further, so we couldn't actually get up to Cape York at that time. Luckily we didn't though, because when we started making our way back down, the car went again. The timing chain snapped again in the engine. So the mechanic that rebuilt it came out and rebuilt it again, and then he actually bought the car from us because we were like, nah, we don't want this car anymore. Luckily we weren't up still in Cape Tribulation or up at Cape York, so we're very thankful that that road was closed off, because otherwise the car wouldn't have been salvageable from up there. That's when we got this car, the Toyota Prado, and she has done us no wrong. We absolutely love her, and we made our way back down the east coast and we explored Fraser Island, and we've done so much in her now. We've gone actually all the way down as far as Sydney, and then I came back up to Brisbane because we flew home for a couple of months just to see our family and our doggy and our friends. So when we came back, that's when we decided to stay around Brisbane and explore the east coast a little bit more. We still have a bit of our lap to do. We've got from Sydney back around to just inside the WA border to do, and the centre, but it all just depends on what way things go on the time. I would absolutely love to do the rest of the lap. I would love nothing more than to finish it, so it's definitely on the the cards.